there's a lot of people out there that saying they're prophets of God, and they're not right. They're not right on. They've missed it here, and they just keep moving forward, but they're not right on.
Enemy spotted.
Hello and welcome. Thanks for stopping by. This video is on false prophet Hank Kunneman. This video started off with me researching stuff on a different video that trailed off to another video that gave me this video. So I got lots of videos in the works and not enough time in the day. We're going over what he claimed at the time of the Georgia Guidestones whenever they got destroyed, and all of his false prophecies before where he's trying to link it to this incident. And the Georgia Guidestones, also called America's Stonehenge. We're going to get into that too. So these creepy stones were financed by a guy named R.C. Christian. That was the name he gave. It was a fake name. It was known that it was fake. We'll get into his real identity later on in the video. Now, on these stones, he had like 10 guidelines written in multiple languages, and here's what it says.
Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature.
So Christian, Catholic, and a lot of people, we got some red flags here. How are we reducing billions to millions of people? Reproduction wisely, by whose standards? Unite humanity with a living new language. Is that a one world language? Rule faith with tempered reason. Whose reason? Are we talking about a one world court system? Seek harmony with the infinite, not God. So there's some red flags here. So there was controversy and mystery around this because nobody knew who really put this thing together. Now, in 2022, these stones were damaged, and this was during the Julie Green doing her prophecies against officials and everything else. And Hank Kunneman, he had to get in there with his stuff as well. Let's go over what he said.
Show the next one. Now you see an explosion. You still see the same light, and it looks like it's moving towards that object. Notice the purple. Now, I've learned this, but I've also known this, that anytime that there is something that does with lightning, do you know that the color is what you see on the other side, because it's the emitting of the energy of that actual lightning bolt. You'll often see the purplish color that go out and look at lightning strikes. You'll see what I'm talking about. And so that's what you see. Now show the next one. Actual lightning bolt. Actual lightning bolt.
So Hank Kunneman, who is a false prophet who says that he regularly talks to God, he gets all this stuff from God, he's going to say that this was a lightning bolt from you know who. That's what he's saying.
But I want to show you some prophecies that I believe we need to look at very carefully.
Now, the prophecies he's talking about is his own false prophecies that he's given, where he's trying to shoehorn it into this to prove that he is a prophet. But let's continue because it gets worse.
So anyway, that's this explosion. Now watch, it's down in rubble.
Now he's making it sound like this was completely on the ground, totally in a pile of rubble. This is not true. It looked like this, and then the local government said it was a safety hazard, and they went ahead and tore the thing down. He made it sound like it was completely on the ground.
Okay, it's completely destroyed. Yeah, it's removed. Now, here's why I believe, again, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I believe that lightning had something to do with it. Why do I believe that? I believe for a couple reasons. Number one,
he's supposed to be talking to God all the time. Shouldn't he know? Shouldn't he know this?
is show there was a storm. This was 3 days after the Flashpoint Live event.
This was July 6th, 2022. So 3 days before that would be the 3rd, except I can't find any Flashpoint for the 3rd. I can't find it. I can't find it anywhere.
That this thing came tumbling down, and we prayed. Those are the storm that came at the exact time. Those are lightning strikes right up by where this monument is, right there.
So he's saying the lightning strike struck as they were praying, making it sound like he was praying about this, which doesn't make sense. 3 days after an event that I can't even find. I mean, this is a wild story with absolute no proof.
Okay? Now, I'm going to show you show them the next graphic. So, look at this one. This is the latitude, or you can call it the flatitude.
Now, a lot of these false prophets and false teachers, they grab numbers from, I saw this on a clock, or I saw this or that, and try to make it fit their narrative. And this is what's going on.
Is 34:13. Look at what Exodus 34:13 says. But you shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. All right, now, I want you to look at 2 prophecies that God spoke ahead of time in April of 2021. Look at what the Lord said. All right, if they can put it up.
So this guy dug through his own false prophecies in the past to try to make something fit with lightning.
Watch for the lightning strike that shall bring strange fire. Did you see fire? Strange fire, and the wind that blows that will topple the statue. Stop right there. Keep that up there.
So his own prophecy here talks about a lightning strike, fire, wind that blows, and it topples a statue. What is a statue?
The likeness of a living being sculptured or modeled in some solid substance, as marble, bronze, or wax. An image.
I will show the earth that the enemy's agenda, as Satan fell from heaven like lightning, so shall his agenda. I believe there's a lot that's attached to it.
Lightning and wind had nothing to do with it. It wasn't a statue. But gullible people are eating this up, and he is just selling it to them to make himself look like a real prophet.
Fire shall be the sign. I saw a fireball. As I stood, my presence as the Philistines put my glory, my presence next to the statue Dagon, it fell. And notice what happened to its limbs. It was cut off. What did you see to that statue?
You're going to have to use your imagination that this is a statue when it's not, and that it's got limbs.
Look for the signs of the wind and the toppling that shall follow. What does a nation look like filled with glory? You're about to see. Now, look at this next one. This one is even more amazing. So this one is April 11th.
So here he is using one of his own prophecies that he did a long time ago and trying to shoehorn it in to make him look better, trying to sell it.
But watch what begins to take place as there'll be a strange, strange sight that shall come from the movement of my hand. So what's God saying? Watch my hand.
So watch God's hand, which is lightning in this case.
That shall be demonstrated by the wind. He keeps talking about it. Again, if he gathers the wind in his fist, he might be saying, I'm gathering the wind. Again, there were storms in the area. Who knows? For when the wind blows, they will say, and it could be the wind of his spirit moving with his hand or with what has been prayed over that region. For when the wind blows, they'll say, what is this that has what? Toppled. What is this that has fallen over? We did not think that this, and it shall be of a statue. And they will ask, how is it that this statue could topple? How is it that this thing could fall over? They're still asking.
So he searched all of his stuff, trying to make something fit. And then he comes up with this statue thing, which it's not. And that's not the real story. Let's get into the real story now.
Tonight, the spot where the Georgia Guidestone stood is just a patch of gravel and weeds, and the GBI tells me they still have no leads on who blew them up.
So it wasn't God with lightning, as the false prophet said.
You know, and obviously we've heard that it was that that blew the Guidestones up.
GBI released this video of a car leaving the scene and a person leaving a device, but investigators have never named a suspect. The rest of the stones were removed for safety soon after the explosion.
So this wasn't lightning. It was confirmed a thing that goes boom. They investigated. They got somebody planting the device and running away. They got a car, and it was confirmed by officials. Not lightning. This is just another false prophet that says a lot of words and records them all on a hard drive, and anytime anything's on the news, they go through it to try to prove themselves as correct. They are right. They are doing this. More fame, more money. Now, who thought of the Guidestones and paid for it? They said it was a R.C. Christian, and that was a fake name. It was a play on this guy's name, which was Kirsten. And all things point to this guy. There's a lot of information out there. Now, who is this guy?
Dr. Herbert H. Kirsten was a physician from Fort Dodge, Iowa, who was involved in various far-right organizations and was the primary backer of the controversial GeorgeGastone monument near Elberton, Georgia. He was born on May 7, 1920, and died in 2005. Some believe that the pseudonym R.C. Christian, who commissioned the Georgia Guidestones, was actually Dr. Kirsten. He was known for his support of figures like David Duke, a former Grand Wizard of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, and his writings sometimes reflected similar ideologies.
Yeah, that David Duke, and we'll get into some of his other friends later on. Now, he wrote 2 books, and he sent one of them to government officials trying to persuade them in lawmaking. Now, there's 2 books listed here, Common Sense Renewed and Age of Reason Renewed. And there's documents and there's stuff at the site of the Guidestones that refer back to Age of Reason or Common Sense. And these directly relate to Thomas Paine, one of the founding fathers. And if we look at a brief summary of Age of Reason, here's what we get.
The Age of Reason is a work by Thomas Paine, published in 3 parts in 1794, 1795, and 1807. It argues for the philosophical position of deism and challenges the legitimacy of the Bible and institutionalized religion. Paine advocates for reason over revelation, leading him to reject miracles and view the Bible as an ordinary book rather than a divine text. He criticizes the Christian Church for corruption and its efforts to acquire political power. Paine asserts that the individual has the right to their own opinion and that reason is the most formidable weapon against errors of every kind. He does not believe in the creeds of any organized religion and advocates for a faith based more on deeds than creeds, promoting a rational approach to understanding God.
So this guy had 2 books that were based off of Thomas Paine's ideas. Now, Kirsten had ties with William Shockley. Dr. William Shockley won a Nobel Prize for the development of the transistor.
However, Shockley is also known for his controversial views on race and eugenics. He argued that there were genetic differences in intelligence among races and promoted theories of black racial inferiority, which made him an academic pariah in later life.
Would it be accurate to say that Mr. Kirsten was a white supremacist?
Racist to his fingertips.
So if the Georgia Guidestones kind of creeped you out and you had a bad feeling about it, you were right on the money. If you think the same thing about Hank Kunneman, the false prophet, you're right on the money. Well, that's the show, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Everybody, have a great day.
It's like prophecy is going out of the direction, like prophetic words said this, and what actually happened was this, and
Do you hope that they're ever rebuilt?
No, they won't be rebuilt.